In the 67th minute of West Ham's away match against Crystal Palace, hundreds of West Ham fans ran into the stands at Selhurst Park after Thomas Soucek opened the scoring for West Ham. As a result, the advertising board at the bottom of the stands collapsed and one of the ball boys sitting on the sidelines was trapped when Lucas Paqueta fell onto the away fans, unaware of what was happening beside him. Thankfully, Soucek lifted the board with his hands so the ball boy could crawl out and stop the ball boy from being squashed. Jared Bowen also helped the ball boy out of danger, and moments later, several West Ham players consoled the distraught ball boy. After the final whistle, several West Ham players were seen chatting with him again, and one player handed him his shirt. On April 18, 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo announced the loss of his baby boy shortly after his wife gave birth to twins. Ahead of Manchester United's match against Liverpool, both teams observed a moment of silence and wore black armbands as a tribute. Despite a fierce rivalry between the two teams, both fans came together in the 7th minute at Anfield with a minute's applause, the same number Ronaldo wears for his club. Some Manchester United fans chanted Ronaldo's name and lifted his shirt, while Liverpool fans sang "You'll Never Walk Alone," while manager Jurgen Klopp also applauded. Leeds United goalkeeper Felix Weidwald struggled to see with the sun shining into his eyes during the match against Barnsley. But it wasn't long before a heroic Leeds supporter came to his rescue. The fan came down from the away end to hand his hat to the goalkeeper. The fan, who received applause from the surrounding crowd, proudly returned to his seat. During the break, the goalkeeper returned to the fan to thank him and return his hat. Wes Harding, Rotherham defender, is seen preparing to take a throw-in during the championship match against Norwich City. But he seemed to struggle to get a firm grip on the ball. However, one fan took off his jacket before taking off his sweater and handing it to Harding, who used it to dry the ball before returning it to the fan. Sitting on the bench during the Copa del Rey match against Arandina, Jude Bellingham was seen wrapped in a Real Madrid blanket to keep warm on the cool winter night. However, after seeing the ball boy suffering from a cold, Bellingham took off his blanket and wrapped it around the boy's body. In Bayern Munich's match against Mainz, Yosuha Guilavogui had just collided with his teammate Anthony Cozzi and immediately fainted. The referee Patrick Ittrich immediately recognized the dangerous situation, as did fellow Mainz player Nadim Amiri. Amiri rolls Guilavogui into the recovery position, but Guilavogui has already swallowed his tongue. The referee moved quickly to open Guilavogui's airway and prevent him from suffocating. Guilavogui was treated by Mainz doctors as soon as they reached him on the pitch before Guilavogui was substituted and further assessed by the club's medical officer. Several New York Red Bulls players gave their coats to the young mascot who walked with them onto the pitch during their match against Inter Miami as heavy rain continued to fall ahead of the game. Having just scored his 100th goal in the Premier League, it would be understandable if Mohamed Salah wanted to keep his shirt as memorabilia. Instead, he gave it to a young Liverpool fan who was holding a sign asking for his shirt. After PSV beat Feyenoord in the 2023 Dutch Super Cup, Noah Lang made sure he gave his fans the opportunity to take photos with the trophy, so they had the opportunity to celebrate with the PSV players. Dynamo Kiev captain Oleg Gusev collided in the penalty box with Denis Boyko and collapsed on the floor unconscious after being hit by the Dnipro goalkeeper's knee. Dnipro midfielder Jaba Kankova reacted immediately, putting his hand to Gusev's throat to clear his respiratory tract. After a few minutes, Gusev stood up before he was carried off the pitch on a stretcher. When Peter Gulassi's shoelaces came untied, Borussia Mönchengladbach forward Alassane Play showed true sportsmanship by tying the RB Leipzig goalkeeper's shoelaces. After scoring their first goal in the match, several Istanbulspor players made a meaningful gesture by calling teammate Baran Alp Vardar a 19-year-old defender who was diagnosed with cancer, via video call. The players connected with Vardar to share their celebrations with him. They also displayed a jersey bearing Vardar's name and number 10 at the stadium, emphasizing their solidarity and support. Martin Odegaard decided to change his role for a moment by taking a photo of one of Arsenal's club photographers, Stuart McFarlane, after Arsenal's 3-1 win at home against Liverpool. Lisandro Martinez had to be carried off the field after suffering a serious injury in the Europa League quarter-final match against Sevilla. Lisandro fell while holding the back of his leg, but there were no players around him at that time. Fellow Argentinian internationals Gonzalo Montiel and Marcos Acuna were both in the Sevilla team, then carried him off the pitch and received a standing ovation from the home crowd. Lisandro was then put on a stretcher and taken to the Old Trafford tunnel. A 13-year-old ballboy was on duty for the Dutch second division match between Den Bosch and Dordrecht, which was Den Bosch's last home game of the season. But his evening was ruined in brutal fashion when die-hard Den Bosch fans suddenly started setting off flares and throwing firework bombs onto the pitch. The ballboy quickly ran away from the opposite side of the pitch after a large explosion as the referee blew his whistle to temporarily suspend the match. The ballboy held the ball in his right hand and put his left hand in front of his ear after a firework bomb exploded nearby. He walked away from the horrific scene with tears streaming down his cheeks. Den Bosch forward Romero Regales saw the ballboy, then immediately ran towards the ballboy and put his arm around the ballboy's shoulders. He comforted the frightened ballboy and escorted him off the field. In the 87th minute of Roma's match against Frosinone, referee Matteo Marchetti's leg suffered a painful cramp after Roma midfielder Houssem Aouar collided with him, who was standing with his back turned. The referee fell to the ground and immediately raised his hand to stop play, and as soon as Aouar realized the referee was in pain, he rushed to help the referee. Lukaku and Dybala were also involved as they signaled to medical staff to intervene from the sidelines. Luckily, the referee only needed a bit of medical treatment before he was back on his feet. Cristiano Ronaldo and Martin Dubravka were involved in a bruising incident when Portugal faced Slovakia. Following Ronaldo's miskick, Dubravka rushed out to grab the loose ball. Dubravka got there first, only to then see Ronaldo kick him with a sliding tackle. Dubravka was left writhing in pain and had to receive treatment. Ronaldo looked apologetic and tried to insist he went for the ball. However, he received a yellow card after his action. In the 78th minute of Spurs' match against Everton, Andre Gomes writhed on the ground due to a fractured dislocation of his right ankle. The horrific injury occurred because Andre's shoe appeared to get stuck in the ground when he collided with Spurs defender Serge Aurier. But what put him in that position was Son's reckless tackle. In the end, Son received a red card after Martin Atkinson withdrew his yellow card. Son clearly had no intention of causing any injury to Andre Gomes. He appeared distressed and crying after witnessing his opponent's ankle bend in an unnatural direction. After his brace against Red Star Belgrade in the Champions League, Son clasped his hands together as a sign of apology to Andre Gomes. In the 11th minute of Manchester United's Champions League match against Galatasaray, Garnacho opened the scoring for Manchester United and ran into the Galatasaray fans' stands before hitting the Calma celebration. Galatasaray fans were understandably angry at the celebration and started throwing things onto the pitch. Fernando Muslera sprinted 40 yards up the pitch to confront Garnacho, and his United teammates stepped up to calm the situation. Captain Bruno Fernandes seemed to be trying to end Garnacho's celebration. Antony was also seen raising his hand in apology to the home fans. After the International Champions Cup match against Liverpool, Christian Pulisic was giving an interview to a news reporter when the young fan was seen rushing onto the pitch. The security guard caught the young fan and took the young fan away from Pulisic. He then stopped the interview and ran towards the security guards to stop them and take photos with a young fan before the young fan was eventually escorted away by the security guards. Cosmin Mate had a golden opportunity to double his team's lead at the end of the first half after Petrolul's goalkeeper collided with a Sepsi player in the penalty box, creating an open goal chance for Matej. But Matej decided not to put the ball into the net and kicked the ball out of play after seeing the goalkeeper writhing in pain so the goalkeeper could receive a treatment. Slovako's Francis Kohn acted quickly after Bohemians goalkeeper Martin Berkovic collided with teammate Daniel Kirsch and lay motionless on the ground. Kohn reacted quickly and was able to stop the goalkeeper from swallowing his tongue so that the goalkeeper could breathe. Werder Bremen player Aaron Hunt fell in the box. The referee immediately decided that he had been fouled by Nuremberg's Javier Pinola and awarded a penalty. But it was clear that Aaron Hunt wasn't touched. When he got up, he approached the referee and managed to convince the referee to overturn the decision. Mateusz Klich put Leeds United ahead, while Aston Villa striker Jonathan Kodja went down with injury. Klich's goal led to a scuffle between the two teams, with Anwar El Ghazi sent off for the visitors. When the match restarted, Leeds United manager Marcelo Bielsa ordered his team to let Aston Villa score the equalizer. Bielsa's decision to let Aston Villa equalize came after the visitors' manager, Dean Smith, and his assistant John Terry protested to him. As a result, Leeds United and Marcelo Bielsa won the 2019 FIFA Fair Play Award. The quick thinking of 15-year-old ballboy Callum Hines allowed Serge Aurier to make a quick throw-in, which resulted in Harry Kane's equalizer in Spurs' 4-2 win against Olympiacos, ensuring their progress to the last 16 of the Champions League. Jose Mourinho walked up to Callum after the goal celebrations to shake his hand and hug him. A few days later, Jose Mourinho invited Callum to Tottenham's pre-match meal as a reward for his quick reactions in the match against Olympiacos. This is perhaps the most heartwarming thing a football team has ever done to thank their unsung heroes. But if you want to watch how football stars thank their biggest fans, just click the video right here.